Now, I wanted to focus in on a few different interesting points. Obviously, we know we just got out of the amazing holiday Shavuot that our sages teach us is the Rosh Hashanah la Perot. It's the holiday for the Perot. It's the New Year for the Perot, for the fruits. And our sages, the Mefarshim, explain the fruits. What does it mean, fruits? It means the fruits of your labor. That Hashem judges you spiritually on Shavuot night. Yom Kippurim, Rosh Hashanah, Hashem decrees upon you how much money you're going to make. Right? The Gemara says, Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah, from New Year until New Year, not the New Year, our New Year, Rosh Hashanah until Rosh Hashanah, Hashem decides how much money a person is going to make. When it comes to Shavuot, our sages explain that Hashem decides on Shavuot how much Torah the person is going to have, how much midot tovot he's going to have, how much maasim tovim he's going to have, how many good deeds he's going to do, how many times he's going to come to shiur, so on and so forth. And that was the day for us to pray as strong as we possibly could to be able to bring that down to ourselves, to be able to bring down something new in the year. And in a way, since I know a lot of people, nobody over here, but some people, money is a nice one. In a way, you also have the ability to increase your money. Why? Because what's spiritual? Giving charity, going to shiurim, you got to go to extra shiurim, drive a little bit further away, so you need extra money for gas. So Kosh Baruch Hu says, okay, according to the spirituality, they'll also give him according to the reward, so on and so forth. So obviously we passed this day and we want to keep that energy going with us. We've been counting up to those days. We finally reached the 50th level that we spoke about last week, which is the Ikar, which is the main point. Now this week's parasha, we spoke about last week that Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu to count the Jewish nation for the fourth time. And we spoke about how that shows the value of every single Jew. And that person needs to value himself. Now this week, we see that, interestingly enough, last week when Hashem counted, He counted from everyone from the age of 20 to 60. People who were ready to go out to war. And the total amount of people was 603,550. But you know who wasn't included in that count? The Leviim, the Levite tribe. They weren't included in the count. And in fact, when were they counted? In this week's parasha. In this week's parasha, they were counted, and the total was 8,580 from the ages of 30 to 50. Now, what's interesting about that is that the Midrash in Bereshit Rabbah tells us, the commentary of Tiferet Zion explains, that when Moshe Rabbeinu heard that the Leviim weren't counted among the Jewish nation, he got afraid. He got scared. He said, what do you mean, Hashem, you're not counting them among the Jewish nation? And he thought that maybe, Chas v'Shalom, God forbid, maybe the Leviim have a blemish, maybe they have something wrong with them. And to save them the shame, Hashem is not counting them. So Moshe Rabbeinu came to Hashem and he told him, Hashem, what's going on over here? Why are you not counting the Leviim? And Hashem told him, don't worry. I'm not counting them, I'm not including them in this account because they're separated. Because they're the ones who do the work in my Mishkan, in my altar. They're the ones who do the service in my sanctuary. I count them separately. I elevate them slightly above. And the Tiferet Zion explains the reason why Hashem did that was because he knew that Hashem knew that the hearts of the Leviim were completely with him. Now we spoke in the past, the Zohar tells us, the Rachmana li babaye, which basically means Hashem wants the heart of every single person. And we see that Hashem elevated the Leviim according to Tiferet Zion because their hearts were with Hashem completely. And therefore we also have to have this ma'alah, this level of understanding in Kedushatan to get to the place where we also can have our hearts completely with Hashem. And everything that we do, to really do everything Hashem Shamayim. We spoke about it in the past, the Gemara Masechet Pesachim. The Gemara says, there's two psukim in Tehillim. One is, Ad Shamayim Chazdecha, until the heavens are your mercy. Another one is, Ma'al Shamayim Chazdecha, that Hashem's mercy is above the heavens. And the Mefarshim and the Gemara comes and asks a question. It says, wait a minute, what do you mean? It's a kasheh. It's contradicting. Either Hashem's mercy reaches until the heavens or it's above the heavens. Says the Gemara, lo kashia, it's not hard. You know why? Because this is when a person does it for the right reasons. That's until the heavens. When he does it for the right reason, when he does it for his own reasons, until heaven. When he does it for the right reasons, above heaven. It's on a higher level. When we do lishma, and therefore the Gemara says, Le'olam yelamed adam tatzmo. Forever a person treats himself, la'asok b'mitzvah, to do a mitzvah, afilu lo lishma. She'lo lishma, yavo lishma. Even if you do it for the wrong reasons, eventually you come to do it for the right reasons. What's a prime example of this? A person wants to give maaser. He knows our sages teach, maaser ta'aser bishvil shetitasher. Give your maaser, give your 10% in order to become rich. So in the beginning, when he gives the maaser, why does he give it? Why does he give the maaser in the beginning? Because he wants to become rich. You know why I'm giving my 10%? I want to go to hook it up. I want a few dollars. In the beginning, what is he going to do it for? Because he wants the extra money. But in the end, what is he going to come and do? He's going to end up doing it for Hashem Shamayim, doing it for Hashem's sake. How is that possible? How is it possible that eventually he'll get to the place where he'll do it specifically for Hashem? Because once he sees the blessing that Hashem brings to him, when he starts giving the 10%, and then he sees what's coming back to him, then he'll say to himself, wow, now I understand. Now I see what the beauty of Hashem is. And he'll fall in love with Hashem and he'll continue from there. How many stories we hear? Countless amount of stories of people who gave donations. I know a guy, personal story, on one of the high holidays. Listen to this, mamash pele. High holiday, he came in, it was a Yom Kippurim, or no, Mechila, it was like Simchat Torah, and they were selling an aliyah. And the bid went up to $18,000. And he was like, look, should I do it? Should I not do it? It's a lot of money. I don't know if I should do it or not. And he told himself, you know what? It's for Hashem. I'm going to give tzedakah. I'm going to give $18,000. The next day he opened the stores. How much in sales? $180,000. Exactly 100% of the 10%. Man, he was makdim the 10 and Hashem gave him the 100. Ay. If a person would see this thing, how are you not going to fall in love with Hashem? How are you not going to fall in love with Hashem? And therefore, said the Gemara, start off doing it for the wrong reasons, but eventually get to the right reasons. Because we'll see towards the end that everything Hashem commands you is for your benefit. And when you see the goodness, and when you see the blessing that it brings to your life, inevitably you're going to fall in love with Hashem, and therefore you're going to keep on doing it, you keep on going. And therefore, the Midrash tells us something very interesting. It says that Moshe came to Hashem, Hashem came to Moshe and he told him, everybody else, you count them from the age of 20 to 60. When it comes to the Levi'im, I want you to count them, says the Midrash, from the age of 1 month. Moshe Rabbeinu said to Hashem, I'm a Jewish leader. I'm a leader in the Jewish nation. Zelo kavod, it's not honor for me to go. And now imagine imagine the rabbi coming to your house. How you doing? And it's the rabbi. Oh, the rabbi, how you doing, rabbi? Welcome in. How many babies do you have in this house? What's going on over here? He said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm obligated, because I'm a leader. I'm obligated by the Torah to carry myself with dignity. I'm going to walk into Speech's house now and ask him how many babies they have, how many people they have in their house. Lo kavod. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what did he tell him? He says to him, you do your part, and I'll do mine. What does that mean? The Midrash explains that he told Moshe Rabbeinu, go until the entrance of their tent, and a bat kol, and a heavenly voice came out and told them, in this tent you have 8, in this tent you have 9, and so on and so forth. And from here we see Bamash Bafol, we see Ma'asi, something that actually happened, Moshe Rabbeinu, what the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says in the 2nd chapter. Rabbi Tafon Omer, right? והוא היה אומר, לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, it's not for you to finish a job, ואין אתה בן חורין, אם אתה ממנה. And you're not exempt from trying. And therefore we explain from over there that Hashem says it's not for you to finish the job. However, do whatever you can and just know that I'll be there to pick you up on the rest. We spoke last week about the 49 and 48. How, what's the 49th level missing in the Sfirat Omer? That Hashem gives you a hand and pulls you up. This is the Emet. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, at the end of the day, He's waiting for you to see what do you want to do? What are you trying to reach in your life? And therefore He says, when you're ready, here I'll give you the hand. And I'll pick you up. Did we tell the story over with the guy from Boker Raton? Over here we didn't tell the story of Boker Raton, נכון? I'll tell you a story, ממש סיפור אמיתי. Some people may have heard it in Shavuot night. There was a Shabbaton that happened, I think almost 8 years ago now, where a group of yeshiva girls, a Bet Yaakov school, decided to go for a Shabbaton in Boker Raton. And they rented at a hotel. And they went there for Shabbaton, everything was beautiful. Friday night they're singing, and Shabbat daytime minyan. And then in between, happened to be that they were a little bit longer, 2 girls decided we're going to go for a walk. And they start going for a walk, and you know Shabbat, you can't take your phone, you can't take... And they started walking. And what ended up happening? A few hours passed. They turn around to turn back, and they are lost. They have no idea how to get back, no one to speak to, no one to go. Motzei Shabbat comes, the camp is freaking out, the school is freaking out. What's going on? Where are these 2 girls? Where are they? We can't find them. They put in every single chat. We need people to come and do a search party. And they looked for hours, and they couldn't find the girls. And they're looking, and they're looking, and they're looking, they can't find them. Eventually, a guy in Orlando tells himself, okay, you know what? I'm putting together a van. We're going to meet at 8 o'clock, whatever time it was, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Whoever can come, I'm going to drive you all the way from Orlando to Boca, which is a few-hour drive. And we're going to go and we're going to join the search party. He's coming over there and he's waiting for people to come, and he sees slowly but surely people are arriving. 2, 3, 4. And all of a sudden, right before they're about to leave, They see a Uber come, one of these minivans come, wheelchair accessible. The guy gets out of the car, opens the door, and an older man, elderly man in his 80s, steps out, comes out in a wheelchair. And the man tells him, I'm so sorry, my van is not wheelchair accessible. I can't take you to Boca. I won't be able to fit you into the car. And the man tells him, no, it's okay. It's fine. The elderly man tells him, it's okay, it's fine. He tells him, but you didn't think maybe before you got into the Uber, before you called it, to maybe text something to ask, maybe you knew that most likely you wouldn't be able to come. You know what the elderly man tells him? Something that shook the man to his core. He told him, I wanted to know that I did everything I could to save those girls. If this is as far as I'm going to go, this is as far as I'm going to go. The rest of it, from here on, Hashem takes care of the rest. This same van was the one that went down and was the one who found her. When they asked the man who was leading the trip, how did you guys find them? He said, 100%, everyone put in their efforts. I put all of our success on this elderly man. Because he did every single thing he could until the point he said, okay, no more. And Hashem said, now you did your part. Now it's time for me to do mine. We learned that last week. Every one of the Levite tribe had 3 families. Kehat, Gershon, and Merari. 3 different families. And each one of them had different jobs, tasks in regards to the Mishkan. Bnei Kehat would carry the Aron. How would they carry the Aron? Chazal teach that they would always face it. So the ones in front would walk backwards and the one in the back would walk forward. But their back would never be turned to the Aron HaKodesh. And since they weren't able to look at it, they covered it with the parochet, the dividing curtain that was standing in front of the Holy of Holies, and another blue curtain signifying its holiness, like the Kisei HaKavod. And that's how they carried it. And Bnei Gershon would carry certain curtains, and Bnei Merari would carry certain boards and pillars and so on and so forth. Now, what's very interesting, that Bnei Kehat were the ones who carried the Aron. But says the Gemara Masechet Sotah, who carried who? The Gemara says the Aron was weightless, and the carriers didn't carry it, rather it carried the carriers. That when Bnei Kehat was sitting over there holding on to the shafts, that they're carrying this thing, they weren't carrying nothing. The Aron was carrying them. It sounds a little far-fetched. Let me tell you a story that has to do with our history. Yeshua ben Nun, you guys know who he is, Yeshua ben Nun? Yeshua ben Nun was the person who took after Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's also the one who took us into Eretz Yisrael. Right before he took us into Eretz Yisrael, into the land of Israel, they reached the Jordan, the Yarden. And the Jordan was overflowing. Huge stream. They could not cross it from the east bank to the west bank to enter into the finishing parts of going to Eretz Yisrael. And at that moment, said Yeshua, also this comes down in Rashi over there, in Perek Shisham in the third chapter, he tells the Kohanim, who normally weren't the ones who carried the Aron, to pick up the Aron. They picked it up. He tells them, now step inside, put 1 foot inside of the Jordan. They put 1 foot inside of the Yarden, inside of the Jordan. The river stopped and split. Yeshua ben Nun tells them now, all of the Jewish nation cross. And the whole entire Jewish nation crosses to the other side, and now all of them are standing on the west bank. And Yeshua tells the Kohanim, pick up your legs. And they pick up their legs, and the stream starts again. Now what happened? All of the entire nation is sitting on the west bank of the Jordan. And only the Kohanim and the Aron are on the east bank of the Jordan. And everyone's thinking to themselves, what's going on over here? How are they going to get to the other side? And at that moment, the Aron lifted them up and carried them to the other side and put itself down. And we must see before we see in our own eyes how the Aron carried them, what the Gemara Masechet says. And on this says the Maharal says on this something beautiful. He says, you think in life, when you come to learn Torah, when you come to Shiur, that you're holding up the Torah. When you think you come over here, you think, I'm holding up the Torah. I'm the one who's sacrificing to come sit down and learning. I'm the one who's in the book open. I'm the one who's sitting in the car. I'm holding up the Torah. Says the Maharal, the Torah is holding you up. Not the other way around. Shlomo Amen says in Mishlei, Etz Chaim hi lemachzikim ba. It's a tree of life for those who hold on to it. Torah is the life for a person. And if Chas v'Shalom he doesn't have a Torah, he doesn't have life. If you don't have a Torah, you cannot have life. No life amiti. I'm telling you, we've been around, we know everyone in the whole entire world. You will never in your life meet a person who really has Chaim, Mamash, Chaim. Unless he has Torah. He doesn't have life until he has Torah. I'll tell you how. The Mishnah Pirkei Avot says, famous one of my diukim, Miu Ashir, Asameach Bechilko. Who's a rich person? A person who's happy with his lot. Says Shlomo HaMelech, the same pasuk in Mishle, Darkea Darkei Noam, Kol Nitivotei Shalom, Etz Chaim Hi LaMachzikim Ba, Utomchei Meushar. The ways of the Torah are peace, are tranquil, peaceful. All of its pathways are peace. It's a tree of life for those who hold on to it. And anyone who invests into the Torah finds Osher Be'alef. You know what Osher Be'alef means? Anyone here speaks Hebrew? In Hebrew, there's Osher and Osher. There's two different things. Osher with Aleph means wealth. No, I mean Chilan. Osher with Ayin means wealth. Osher with Aleph means Simcha, happiness. So what does Simcha mean? Happiness. So what does Osher mean? Happiness. So what's the difference between the two? We need two words to mean happiness. Happiness, happiness. Huh? Let me answer you guys beautifully. When a person has a party, what do you say in Hebrew? Waseh, simcha. He's making a party. How long does the party last? 4 hours, 5 hours. If it's mamash, achas ve'osh, 3 days, 7 days. No. Aval it ends. So too simcha. Simcha is something that's temporary. Yeah, simcha is something that's temporary. Like we see with what? What do we see this with? We see that the person who goes out in life, he buys something, he does it, whatever he can do, whatever he gets money, it only gives him a short period of happiness. It's not long-lived, it's something temporary. Masha'en kin osher, what happens to be with osher, that it's forever. It's everlasting. And therefore, the Chazal were midagdek, they were very meticulous in what they said. Mihu ashir, who is a rich person? A person who's sameach bechilko, a person who's happy with his lot. What do you mean happy? Oh, when it comes to money, happiness. What does it mean? Money will only give you short-term happiness. Says Shlomo HaMelech at the Midrash Shir HaShirim Rabbah tells us he was the smartest person to ever live. Legabei Torah, in regards to the Torah, utomchea meushar. If you invest in the Torah, there you're going to find your happiness. Real happiness, not fake happiness. Not fake happiness. Real happiness you're only going to find in the Torah. And therefore you understand what it means. Etz Chaim LaMachzikim Ba. If you hold on to the Torah, it's a tree of life for you. It's your Chaim. It's Mechayeh Otcha. It gives you life. It gives you koach to get through the day. It moves you. You think. And I tell you, you think it's easy to go through life. You think it's easy to go through the trials and tribulations of life. It's not. There's nothing worse in the world than feel like you're alone. Nothing worse in the world than feel like you're alone. But when you know that you have Hashem on your side, then you have it all. And no matter what you face, you know that Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, the King of all kings, is with me anywhere I'm going to go. So therefore, what do I have to be afraid of? And therefore, Etz Chaim LaMachzikim Ba, a tree of life for those who hold on to it. If you hold on to the Torah, it will be life for you. It mechayet ben adam, it gives you life. It wakes you up, it makes you into a better person. Mechadel otcha, it makes you a better person. It changes who you are, it changes your essence. We spoke about it last week that a person learns Torah. No should think you come to Shur Torah, you walk in the same person, you leave a different. There's no way you're walking in here and leaving here different. There's no way. There's no way. We mentioned the Gemara last week in Ta'anit, Rabbi Elazar, about the person who was very ugly. He told him how he's so ugly. And the Ben Ish Chai says, what is this? This cannot be he actually meant he was ugly. He was talking about the inside. That Torah is meant to sharpen a person and it's supposed to make you a better person inside. And if it didn't, kanireh, you didn't really learn Torah. If you left the Shur Torah, you didn't change who you are, you didn't really learn Torah. You didn't come to Shur Torah, you didn't learn anything. A Torah is meant to change who you are. There's no way you walk in here one person and don't leave another person. It makes you more patient, more calm. How many wives tell me, wow, ever since my husband joined the Shurim, by the way, the wives and your husbands, ever since your wife, wow, he's so much more calm. He's so much more understanding. How many mothers that tell me, wow, Ashrecha, thank you for taking my son, so on and so forth. It changes his life, it changes his essence. It makes him a better person. And therefore, when he understands, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, this is what the essence of the world is. It's the Torah. And the Torah is what holds you up, says the Maharal. It's what holds you up. You're not holding up the Torah right now. You come into Shur Torah, you think it's holding you. You're holding up the Torah. No, it's holding you up. It gives you koch to the whole entire week. Ki Shabbat, hi mekor beracha. What does that mean? Shabbat is the source of all blessing. What does that mean? That the rest of the week, what does it take its holiness from, its abundance from, its blessing from? From the Shabbat. When you hold on to the Torah, the rest of the blessing comes. When you let go, I cannot do anything for you. Zeh chaim. This is life, what you have in your hands. And therefore you have to take advantage of it. Bnei Kehat, they held on to the Aaron. And what did the Aaron do for them when they held on to it? It lifted them up. So too for us. So too for us, if we hold on to the Torah and we ingrain it into ourselves and we make it a part of our life, the Torah says, now I'm going to pick you up. Now I'm going to lift you up. Now I'm going to take you to better places. Now listen to this. Listen to this. Bnei Kehat, we said, Mechila, the Levi were broken up into three families. Kehat, Gershon, and Merari. These are three stages, that Farshim explained, in a person's Avodat Hashem, in a person's work of God. First things first is Kehat. What's Kehat? When you're holding on to the Torah, when you had a great experience, you're motivated, you're holding on to it, it's easy to work Hashem. But where does Hashem judge you? Not when it's easy. Not when everything is going great. I love it. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon when the team is 3-0 in the finals. Okay? And everybody wants to, hey, no, wait a minute. 2 minutes ago, you were a Knicks fan. Now all of a sudden you're Golden State. No, they're winning. Okay, everyone wants to be a part of a winning team. So Bnei Kehat, when everything is lit up and everything is good, you're holding on to the Torah. Okay, work Hashem. What's the Gershon? The second level, they only carry the curtain. Which basically means, what's the Gershon? Girshu oto. They moved him back. They told him, go. They moved him one level down, so all he has is the curtain. He doesn't have a whole Torah. He just has the curtain. He's holding on a little bit. That's a little bit less of a level. Over there, how's Avodat Hashem? Now how are you feeling about Hashem? A little more difficult, huh? And what about Merari? You know what the word Marir means in Hebrew? Bitter. What's it bitter? Bitterness. When things are not so sweet. That's what Hashem wants to see you avodah. That's what Hashem says, now I'm judging you. Let's see who you really are. Let's see who you really are. When things are going good, everyone and their mother is going to come jump on the bandwagon. But when you're over here, and things are difficult, that's when I want to see who you are. And we should know, Chazal teach us, that Hashem never puts you in a challenge you can't pass. The Or Letzion, he writes Legabeh, Kibud Avraim, in regards to respecting the mother and the father. He says Hashem never puts a person in a challenge you can't pass. And therefore, if sometimes it's difficult to honor your parents, just know you can still do it. Because Hashem gave you the ability. How do you know? When the Jewish nation left Mitzrayim, Mash with this, I'm going to finish. When the Jewish nation left Mitzrayim, the Torah says they had two pants in front of them. A long one and a short one. And what does the Pasuk in the Torah say? Pen Yeru Milchama. Maybe they'll see a war, V'yeshuva Mitzrayim, and they'll go back to Mitzrayim. So Hashem says, instead of me taking them the short way, I'll take them the long way. Take them to the Sea of Reeds, and then go on, and take them a year till they get there, so on and so forth. What could have been a few day travel? Anyone knows geography? They know how far Egypt is from Israel? With a few camels, how long it take you to get a few days, a week, 2 weeks? Especially if you have a good camel, sometimes the camels, you can go fast. Zaz. Camels, you know what the hump on the back for the camels are? Storage, water. He doesn't need to stamp a line. He moves. Horse, everything. You can take him. But a camel who's that? How long does it take you? Too long. How can it take us so long? Tell the Torah that Kosh Baruch Hu had 2 ways to take them, says the Midrash. He didn't take him the shorter way. Why? Because there was a few Jews from Shevet Ephraim and Lot Torah who went out a little bit early, miscalculated. And they went out earlier. And therefore they went out to war, they went the shorter way. They lost. And at Tzarenu, their remains were scattered along the way. And therefore they would have saw the remains of the other ones who left. They would have been afraid and ran back. So Hashem took them the long way. Chazal teach them over here, you know what? Hashem never puts a person in a test he can't handle. If he knows you cannot handle it, he won't put you in it. And therefore he put you in a test, just know he already gave you the koch to get out. If you get to the place of Merari, if you get to the place where it's bitter, just know your koch is already inside of you. And here's the chidush. If that's the case, then why did Hashem take them out? If the whole mataraf, the whole point of it all was to take them out, to get them to Matan Torah, to get them to the Torah, on the 6th of Sivan, and Torah says, Hashishi, Yesh Lakish, that the whole world was created for the purpose of the Torah. So we get to the point where we say, Na'aseh v'nishma. We'll do and we'll listen. Yeah, that's the whole point. They can't even go see a war. Imagine you right now, you saw in your own eyes 10 plagues. Dam, tzfardea, and what's the last one? Makat becharot. Makat becharot. The death of the firstborn. Says the Zohar, bebechorehem. You know what bechorehem means? That their own firstborns went out to a civil war before Hashem even came out at midnight and killed thousands of them. And then Hashem came down at midnight and killed every firstborn. Now, when Moshe came to Paro and he gave him the warning, and he told him, oh, your firstborn's going to die. He said, okay, how many firstborns are there in every family? Now, they didn't know that the women in Egypt weren't so loyal, if you will. So every house had 3, 4, 5 firstborns. Miskenim, they woke up in the morning and called, hello. What? And the milkman's outside crying. What happened? That's my son. I'm not leaving you alone anymore. The Egyptian woman honest. And who has the ability to discern between semen to semen, through life to life? To know who's the firstborn. And the Midrash takes it a step further. It tells us that even if the ones who went out of Egypt, they went to go visit their family in Iraq, their firstborn died over there too. If they were Egyptian, their firstborn died everywhere in the world. You see this with your own eyes. Then you come out of Egypt. You saw him wipe out almost an entire nation. Hundreds of thousands of people. There wasn't a house in Egypt, the Chazal teaches, there wasn't one house, there wasn't a dead body in it. Not one house. And you come out and you're afraid to go out to war. Imagine you saw this with your life. Imagine you saw right now all these people going down like flies. You took their God, you put it on the roast. Okay? Wow, it's the shtabach shemo egel. Okay? Not egel. You know what I'm talking about with the lamb. He cooks smoking it up. He's eating it. He's tying it to his bed. And they can't do anything to you. Shabbat HaGadol. You're afraid all of a sudden now. So you see, where was the emunah and bitachon? How great were they? Kanireh, they weren't so great yet. Because they weren't able to go the short way. If you would have saw it, you would have been able to go the short way. You were able to? Look at there. Maybe I would be able to. Look at there. Maybe. Most likely. Okay? Probably. Okay? The reality is that's the case that Hashem took them out because they were such a great nation. We see they weren't even a great nation yet. When did they become a great nation? Na'aseh v'nishma. So what does that mean? That Hashem took them out of Egypt, did all these miracles for them, and they weren't even holding there yet. He just knew that eventually they're going to get there. And therefore you see in your life Hashem sets things in motion. Even right now you're not ready. But when the time will come, you will be ready. Yosef, what was his claim to fame? What did he do that made him so great? Eshet Potiphar, he overcame this immense test, 17 years old, in the peak of his vigor. And now comes, the Midrash is one of the most beautiful women in all of Egypt. And she comes chasing after you. Every night she would change dresses. She was mamash. She would everything she could do to entice him. Be with me, be with me. And he overcomes it. He doesn't sleep with her and runs away. That's his claim to fame, right? When did that happen? After the brothers sold him or before the brothers sold him? After. So all the things that happened with his brothers, that they sold him and they hated him, and the keton al-basim and the striped clothing, and then he was sold to the Ishmaelim, to the Midianim, and so on and so forth. And he got to Egypt, and Eshet Potiphar, and 1 year he was there. All of this happened so what? So that in the near future, one day you're going to be put in a test. And I know already that you can pass it. And therefore I already started setting things in motion. The biggest chidush. That Hashem already knows your yakolot. He knows what you can handle, what you can't handle. And therefore he says, you know what? I already start setting things in motion for you because I know who you're going to be. You may not be him today. But I know who you're going to be. I know the power you have inside of you, and therefore, if you feel it coming, maybe today you're not ready, but when the day comes, you will be ready. And that's the emunah and the bitachon. The emunah and the bitachon is to know that when the end of the month comes, the money will be there. When the test is going to come, the strength is going to be there. The koch is going to be there. You know how you know? Because Hashem wouldn't put you here if you couldn't. Hashem wouldn't put you here if you couldn't. It's the biggest chidush. Hashem gave you everything you need already inside of you. All the tools you need are already inside of you. And if you see things are setting into motion, just know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is already preparing for you the goodness. It's on the way. One guy told me this week, how do you hold on? Huh? How do you hold on? Difficult times, things are difficult. You see darkness, how do you hold on? I told them, never let go. Never let go of the idea. How to replay in your mind. The goodness is coming. The goodness is coming. The goodness is coming. Right now it's bad. But I can't wait to see how amazing it will be when I reach there. Because I know that if Hashem put me right down in the down, kanireh the up is coming. And I can tell you, and I can be ma'id al atzmi. I can testify to you on my own life. Every single time in my life there was a dip. Whatever kind of dip it was, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever it would be. Difficult moments. And I held strong, held my resolve, kept that image in my mind, always, always, always. Light is coming, Hashem's going to give me the best thing from over here. And I wasn't mityesh. I didn't get discouraged. I kept on going and going and going and going. Guess what? The greatest things came from it. Hashem took the Jewish nation into Egypt for what reason? Why did we go down to Egypt? Because Hashem wanted to give us the Torah. Hashem wanted to give us the greatest gift in the whole entire world. So give it to us right away. How many souls went down to Mitzrayim? Shivim Nafesh. 70 souls went down. Who were they? Yaakov, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yosef, Binyamin. Every single one of them were bigger tzaddikim than every single one sitting in this room. So give it to them. Why you need us? Why you have to wait until we go down to Egypt? 210 years. We come out 200,000 people. We're not even ready to see a war. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov would have went out to war. Avraham Avinu went out to war by himself with one person. According to the Midrash. With one person. To go fight 4 kings who just beat 5 kings. And how did he beat them? Says the Gemara, he threw sand. And the sand turned into daggers. Imagine that. How Avinu comes by himself? Like you have a whole army sitting over there now. 1, 2, 3, 4 gigantic armies. How Avinu comes? No, Hakol nigmar. Picked up a little bit of sand. Everyone's gone. Khalas. Abraham Avinu could have went out to war. He would have went out to war bekalut. Who did he go out to war for? Don't tell me he went out to war for Hashem, even though he did. Who did he go out to war for? For his nephew. For his nephew. Don't tell me it was a war for Hashem. But the truth of the matter was, the Midrash tells us, it really was Hashem Shamayim. Why? Because his nephew looked just like him, and he was going around desecrating Hashem's name. And therefore, Abraham Avinu, when he went to go save him, you know why he saved him? For Hashem's sake. And therefore, for Hashem's sake, guess what? I'm going out to war. Me and one guy. Me and my plus one, we're going out to war. Imagine? 2 guys walking into Akshav Gaza with two bags of sand. Weapons of mass destruction. Ken, you know. Ma'uz Hashama. So how come we didn't give it to Avraham Avinu? How can they give it to the 70 nations, 70 souls that went down to Mitzrayim? How come we didn't give it to them? Because first things first, before I give you the or, what's the Torah called in Aramit? Oraita. The or, before I give you the light, I got to put you into the choshech. Take you down, but then I can bring you up. You're right, maybe right now, but you're not going to appreciate the Torah until you know how to work for it. And I'll tell you this comes down in many different sfarim, that in the beginning, when you start your journey, it's sharbeit lavut. When you start your journey, you have a lot of energy and magic, and you feel good. And then at a certain point, all of a sudden, you hit a wall. That was loud. That box was loud. Again, you hit a wall, and the wall is that loud too. Okay? Why? They're still ringing. Okay? Huh? You hit a wall. Now what? No, Rabbi, trying it. It's not for me. Okay. Take force. You're only good when it's kehat, when you're holding on to the aron. When you get to Merari, kafatzta, you already jumped off the ship. Hashem says you were never Amiti in the first place. Why did Hashem put you over there? To test you. To see, let me see if you're real, if you're not real. Let me see if you're just a bandwagon. Let me see if you're really Emet. And when in those moments, in Merari, when everything is bitter, and you see darkness, in those moments Hashem says, now I know who you are. And guess what? That darkness really is ultimately to bring you to the biggest ode you could possibly ever have in your life, which is Oraita, which is the Torah. It's Chaim Mila Magzikim Ba, because real life is Torah. Real life is Torah. And you can test me on this. And I'm willing to testify this publicly on YouTube. I will put it out on YouTube, we'll put it out everywhere in the world, everyone can see it. Lo ra'iti b'kol yemei chayai. My whole entire life, I've never, ever seen a person without Torah who's really happy. לא ראיתי. They have simcha. They have different moments of, wow, in a party now, שתברך שבדד. אבל אין שמחה אמיתי. There's no real happiness. You know why? אומר שלמה המלך, הוא תומכי המאושר. You want real happiness? Only from the Torah. If you don't have it, שכח מזה. Go chase after the money, the paddock, the watch, the kasazul, the steaky, minyanim, the cars. תראה לבד. When you get there, you realize where you're really getting to. Huh? You know what's like mashal too? A guy's playing one of those games. When you climb the mountain, and then the game tells you, oh, you're 50 feet away from your friend. So he keeps on going. Or you're 100 feet away from him. So he keeps on going. And the whole time he's climbing this mountain, he's thinking to himself, wow, look at that. He feels good, nachon? Until he eventually gets to the top and he falls off the cliff. Woo! This is a person who runs after the material. He's going up. What is he looking at? The next person ahead of him. Okay, I have to beat him. Okay, I have to beat him. I have to beat him. And eventually gets to the top and he realizes, ain't nothing up here. Whoop! Downhill from there. Yeah, that was for you. After? Huh? Sound effects is my specialty. Samatem! And therefore a person has to know that real chai, real life, only comes from the Torah. And Hashem says, how do I know who you really are? How do I know where the real Torah is inside of you? How do I know? I know when I see, not nekehat, not girshon, merari, where things are bitter. Not when everything's beautiful. When things are bitter, let's see who you really are. Just this week, I want you to do something and finish. Just this week, I saw one of the parents. He tells me, you know how I know you really learn Torah? I said, why? He said, anytime I see a person who learns Torah, and every time you see him, he's smiling and he's happy, he's really learning Torah. Because that's what Torah does to you. Samech ben Adam. You can have the biggest problems in the world. Who cares? I'm in the middle of learning now. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Everybody knows a famous story. Chama one of his shmashim says about him. One time he had to go for a surgery. He had sukeret. He had, how do you say sukeret? Diabetes. And what happened? The doctor told him we cannot give him anesthesia according to his age and health. So what do we do? This procedure is very painful. So what did he tell them? He told them, look, no anesthesia, no nothing. Give me 5 minutes. I happen to be in a good sugya right now in the Gemara. Leave me with the Gemara. Come back in 5 minutes. No joke. They came back in 5 minutes. Beforehand, he signed the release form. They could do it. They came back in 5 minutes. They did the whole procedure. The son's sitting over there. Chamayah gets up and says, did they do it yet or not? He said, Abba, they're already done. You can go home now. Oh, really? Okay, Allah, let's go. Torah is mechayet ben adam. It's mechayet ben adam. It gives you life. It's the greatest thing you can ever have. And when you have it, you have everything. When you have everything. And therefore, that's what we're testing. Right now, you're borot. Everything's good. So good. Avat Hashem is on all 3 levels. Working Hashem is in all the 3 levels. When you're holding on, when everything is going amazing, when it's a little bit less, and even when things are bitter. Even there. That's what we really tested. And when they're bitter, and that'll bring you back to the orot, and even greater and higher, and so on and so forth. And that's what we should strive to get into our lives. We all should be zocheh. Amen. Chazak u'baruch.